The evening sun was melting into the rooftops when Chisholm rushed into their small one-room hut, smelling of smoke and the tears she had swallowed since morning. Her stepmother's voice followed behind her like a whip. Useless girl. If you break one more plate, I will use your head to replace it. Chisholm shut the door quietly and pressed her forehead against the wooden frame. Her heart was tired. Her body was tired. Everything about her life felt like punishment. Her father, once a strong hunter, now sat on an old mat in the corner. Coughing weakly, he raised his head and looked at her with sad, apologetic eyes. "My daughter," he whispered, "come and sit." She did. Even though they hardly had food, she always sat beside him and rubbed his chest to help him breathe. That night, her stepmother, Mama Ogechi, made the announcement that would change Chisholm's life forever. "Tomorrow, a rich family is coming from the city," she said, adjusting her wrapper. "Their madam needs a house girl, and it will be you." Chisholm's heart fell. "Me? Why, Papa? I don't want to go." Her father sat up, coughing. "You will not sell my child." "Sell?" Mama Ogechi scoffed. "Who is selling? It is work, good work. Let her go and help. We need money. Or do you want to die without medicine?" Chisholm's throat tightened. She looked at her father. He looked away. That night she cried silently until sleep held her. The next morning, the sound of a horn woke the entire compound. A sleek black car stopped in front of their mud house. Two people stepped out, a tall man in suit and a woman wearing dark sunglasses. "Are we at the right place?" the woman asked, her voice smooth. Mama Ogechi ran out, smiling. "Yes, Ma. Welcome, Ma. This is the girl." She pulled Chisholm forward aggressively. But the moment the rich woman saw her, she froze. She stared, her mouth parted slightly. Her sunglasses slid down her nose. It felt like time stopped. Chisholm shifted nervously. "Good morning, Ma." The woman didn't reply. Instead, she stepped closer, slowly, almost carefully. Then she touched Chisholm's cheek. "You," she whispered, "you look exactly like my daughter." Everyone turned. The driver blinked. Papa coughed hard. Mama Ogechi forced a laugh. "Ma, maybe small resemblance." "No," the woman interrupted sharply. "Not small. Exact." For a moment, the woman looked shaken, as if her spirit had left her body. Finally, she took a deep breath, gathered herself, and said, "Yes, she will come with us." She opened the car door. Chisholm looked back at her father. Tears were in his eyes. "Go, my child," he said softly. "Maybe life will favor you." There she climbed into the car. As the vehicle pulled away, her stepmother waved fake tears. Her father stood still, heartbroken. Chisholm pressed her face to the window and watched her world shrink behind her. She had no idea her life was about to explode open. The city mansion was bigger than anything she had imagined. A fountain flowed at the front. Guards stood like statues. Everything smelled of money, but what shocked her most was the girl standing at the top of the stairs, wearing a rich girl's dress and holding a phone. Zara. Chisholm gasped. She was staring at her own face. Same eyes, same nose, same small scar above the left eyebrow. It was like looking into a mirror, but a mirror that had lived a better life. Zara's phone almost dropped. "Mummy," her voice shook. Why does this girl look like me?" The entire mansion fell into silence. Even the air stopped moving. But the Madame Zara's mother simply rubbed her forehead, her chest rising and falling as if she were fighting a memory she buried long ago. "Zara, go inside," she whispered. "No." Zara's voice cracked. "Who is she? Why does she look like me?" The madam turned to Chisholm. "Follow me." She led her into a large room, closed the door, and sat down. Her hands were trembling. "Tell me, child, who are your real parents?" Chisholm swallowed, confused. "My father is Namdi. My mother died when I was 3. The madam's eyes filled with tears instantly. 3, her voice broke. "My own daughter went missing when she was 3. Chisholm froze. Her heart slammed against her ribs. She didn't know it yet, but this moment, this question, would be the beginning of a secret that would shatter 2 families, 2 girls, and everything they believed. The madam's hands were still shaking as she stared at Chisholm, the girl who looked like her own daughter. The memory she had buried for 13 painful years slowly pushed its way back into her mind. Her missing child. The search, the police case, the night she almost lost her sanity, but she forced herself to stay calm. "Sit Down, she said gently. Chisholm obeyed, her fingers twisting nervously. Tell me, the madam continued, do you remember anything about your mother? Anything at all? Chisholm tried hard. I only remember her smile. She used to braid my hair. And she called me my shining star. But that is all, the madam gasped. She covered her mouth with both hands. That phrase, my shining star, was the name she alone used for her missing daughter. Her husband didn't even know it. Her eyes flooded instantly. She turned away so Chisholm wouldn't see the trembling in her lips, but it was too late. Ma, Chisholm whispered, did I say something wrong? No, my child, she said softly, voice cracking. It's just you remind me of someone. Someone she lost, someone she never stopped crying for. She wiped her eyes quickly and stood up. Come, let me introduce you properly to the house. The mansion was huge, far beyond anything Chisholm had imagined. The corridors were wide, the ceilings high, the lights bright like daytime, but every step she took, she felt Zara's eyes following her from a distance. Zara watched with stiff jealousy, her heart pounding wildly. How dare a village girl enter her home looking just like her? No one had ever looked like her. She rushed to her room and stared at her own reflection in the mirror. The same scar, the same face, the same nose. It made no sense. Who is she? Zara whispered to herself. And why is Mummy acting strange? Meanwhile, the madam led Chisholm into one of the inner sitting rooms. Sit, she said again. I need to ask you something important. Chisholm's heart thumped. Where is your birth certificate? I don't have one, Chisholm replied. My father said the midwife lost it the day I was born. The madam inhaled sharply. The midwife lost it, just like her own daughter's papers disappeared the night she was stolen. Something deep inside her started burning, a mother's instinct rising again after 13 silent years. I need to meet your father, the madam said slowly. Chisholm stiffened. Did I do something wrong? No. She held Chisholm's hands gently. I just need answers. Later that evening, when her husband returned home, the madam asked him to meet her in the study. He sensed something was wrong immediately. What happened? He asked. She took a deep breath. The girl we brought today, she looks exactly like Zara. Her husband shook his head. Many people resemble. No, she cut him off sharply. Not resemblance, identical. Same scar, same birth month, same age, same everything. Her husband's smile faded. He sat down slowly. They stared at each other, fear rising like smoke between them. You think she is? He whispered. I don't know, she said, but I want a DNA test. Her husband rubbed his forehead. If she is our child, if she is the daughter we lost, it would mean someone took her and sold her. They both fell silent. The truth, if discovered, would break everything. The next morning, Chisholm woke up early and began the chores they gave her. Zara walked into the kitchen and leaned on the counter, watching her silently. Why do you look like me? Zara asked coldly. Chisholm swallowed. I don't know. Zara stepped closer. Her eyes were sharp, threatening. Listen to me, Zara said, voice low. I don't care where you came from. This is my house, my parents, my life. Don't let anyone get confused. I'm not trying to. I didn't ask, Zara snapped. Just stay in your place. She turned to leave, then stopped and looked back. By the way, she added with a smirk, you will never be part of this family, no matter how much you look like me. Chisholm felt the sting deep in her chest. Zara walked away proudly, but she did not know that her world was about to collapse soon. Because that night, after everyone slept, the madam entered Chisholm's room secretly, holding a cotton swab and a small envelope. Don't be scared, she whispered. I need to take this to know the truth. She gently swabbed the inside of Chisholm's cheek. Chisholm watched silently. What truth, Ma? The madam's voice broke. The truth about who you really are. She left the room, her hands shaking as she sealed the DNA sample. This test would change everything. The DNA envelope lay on the madam's dressing table like a ticking bomb. She had not slept the entire night. Her hands trembled whenever she looked at it. Her husband stood near the window, arms folded tightly. Are you ready? He asked quietly. No, she whispered. But we must see it. He picked up the envelope. They looked at each other one last time and opened it. 2 seconds passed, then 3, then The madam's breath broke. She covered her mouth with both hands. Her husband's eyes widened. The document fell from his hand and fluttered to the floor. Match 99.8%. Biological relationship, mother and daughter. It felt like the room itself shook. The madam dropped to her knees and wept loudly deep. Unstoppable sobs that echoed through the house. Her husband knelt beside her, holding her as her entire body trembled. "She is my child," he cried. My baby that they stole from me." 13 years of buried grief exploded out of her chest like a storm. For the first time in years, her husband cried to quiet tears rolling down his face. He picked up the paper again, stared at it like it was a ghost. "This means," he whispered, "Zara and Chisholm are truly twins." The madam sobbed harder. "My daughters, I have 2 daughters." Meanwhile, downstairs, Chisholm was sweeping the front balcony, unaware that her entire life had just changed. Zara walked past her, flipping her hair proudly. "Make sure you wash the veranda after sweeping," Zara said, "and don't use too much water. Last time you splashed everywhere." Chisholm said nothing. She had learned to swallow words, but her silence annoyed Zara. "Are you deaf?" Zara snapped. Before Chisholm could respond, a harsh voice called out, "Zara." It was their mother. Zara turned immediately. That tone meant trouble. She walked toward her mother, confused. "Where were you yesterday between 7 and 8 p.m.? her mother asked, trying hard to stay composed. "In my room," Zara replied slowly. "Why?" The madam inhaled deeply. "Good," she whispered. "Come with me." Zara followed her upstairs. In the master bedroom, she saw her father sitting, his face tight with emotion, and on the bed, an open DNA envelope. "Mummy, what is this?" Her mother held her shoulders gently. "Zara, you are not an only child." Zara's heart skipped. What? Her mother picked up the paper. "The girl downstairs, Chisholm, she is." But Zara's father interrupted firmly, his voice shaking. "She is your twin sister." Zara froze. Her arms dropped to her sides. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. What are you saying?" Her mother sat on the bed. "Zara, you were not born alone. You were born with another girl. But someone stole her from the hospital." Zara shook her head violently. No. That girl, that village girl, that maid, she cannot be my sister." Her father's voice rose in pain. "It is the truth. DNA does not lie." Zara's eyes filled instantly. Her breath came fast. She felt her world tilt. No, Mummy. Please tell me this is a mistake. She cannot be my twin. She cannot be." Her mother hugged her tightly. "We lost her for 13 years, and God has brought her back." Zara's body stiffened. She didn't hug her mother back. Instead, she whispered, "If she is really my twin, then what happens to me? To my life, to everything I have?" Her mother pulled away to look at her face. "Nothing changes. You are still my child." But Zara was already backing away, shaking her head. "No, everything will change. I know it. I feel it. She came to take my place." Zara. But she ran out of the room, tears spilling, heart full of fear. Back downstairs, Chisholm was in the kitchen arranging vegetables when Zara burst in. "You!" Zara shouted. Chisholm jumped. "What did I do?" Zara's voice cracked with a mixture of fear, anger, and heartbreak. "You are not supposed to be here. Mummy said I should." "Don't call her Mummy." Zara screamed. "She is my mother, my family, not yours." Chisholm's chest tightened. She took a small step back. "But Zara pointed a shaking finger at her. "You think just because you look like me, you can come into my house and take everything?" Never. Tears filled her eyes. "You will never be part of this family." "I don't care what anyone says." Chisholm felt her throat clog. "Zara, I don't want to take anything from you." "Liar!" Zara shouted. "You took my face. You took my life. And now you want to take my parents too." Chisholm stood there frozen, helpless, wounded. She didn't know what to say. And then their mother walked into the kitchen quietly. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her voice was soft, trembling. "Chisholm, come with me." Chisholm followed her into the sitting room. The madam sat down, held Chisholm's hands, and looked into her eyes with a depth of emotion that made Chisholm's stomach twist. "My child," she whispered. Chisholm blinked. Tears rolled down the woman's cheeks. "I have something to tell you, something that will change your life." Chisholm's heart pounded painfully. "Then the madam said it. You Are my daughter?" The world stopped. Completely, Chisholm stared. At her lips trembled, her knees weakened. I am what the madam pulled her into a tight, shaking embrace. "My baby, my lost child, my shining star, I have found you." Chisholm burst into tears. Instantly, the madam cried harder, holding her like she would never let go again. Upstairs, Zara stood quietly on the stairs, watching the scene with burning eyes. Her hands tightened into fists. Her voice cracked. "No, this cannot happen. I will not let her take my place." The next few days in the mansion were a storm. Nothing was normal, nothing was calm. The madam walked around the house with new light in her eyes, a light she had not felt since the day her baby was stolen. She followed Chisholm everywhere, asking if she had eaten, touching her hair, smiling at her for no reason. Chisholm felt overwhelmed, laughed confused, and watched because Zara watched her like a hawk, stiff, angry, silent, unpredictable. The father tried to act strong, but even he kept stealing glances at Chisholm, studying her face, seeing himself in her smile. It should have been a joyful time, but something dangerous was boiling under the surface. Zara's breaking point. On the third day, Zara barged into her parents' room. "Mummy, we need to talk." Her mother looked up, tired. "Yes, my daughter." Zara's voice shook. "I want a test." "What test?" "A test to show who the real daughter is." Her father dropped his pen. "What are you saying?" "I want a DNA test," to Zara said, eyes shining with a strange fire, "to prove that I belong here, that I am truly yours." Her mother went pale. "Zara, nobody is replacing you. It feels like it." Zara shouted, tears spilling. "You talk to her. You walk with her. You hold her like I don't exist anymore." Her mother rushed to her, trying to hug her, but Zara stepped back. "I am not doing this because I doubt myself," Zara said, wiping her tears. "I am doing it because she came from nowhere and suddenly she has taken everything." Her father spoke gently. "We love you equally. You are both our children." Zara exhaled sharply. "No, I need proof." Her mother exchanged a worried look with her husband, but finally agreed. "Fine, if it will give you peace, we'll do it." The day of the test, the hospital was cold and quiet. The two girls sat apart, Zara stiff and trembling, Chisholm nervous and confused. Their parents sat between them, trying to hold the fragile family together. When it was time, the nurse took Zara's sample first, then Chisholm's. While leaving the hospital, Zara whispered, "I want to use this opportunity to tell you that Jesus loves you," and he said, "He's coming again, and me and you don't know when it's coming. He can come at anytime we did not expect it. So is now that is not yet come, that we are still alive. We had the grace and the opportunity to repent for our sins and give our life to him. He said no matter sin that you have committed, he will forgive you. Old things are passed away. Give your life to him today is waiting. Don't miss this opportunity." Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss our next story.